Got him! Let's go, you little sniper stinker! Hey everyone, Digital David here. Today in this video, I'm excited to review the Sceptre 20-inch LED monitor. I did receive this product to review, but any opinion expressed in this video is strictly my own. That being said, if you're interested in this product, you want to find out more about it, the link to it will be in the video description. You can see the retail box and packaging right here. Check it out. Everything looks great. They walk you through all the ports and I/O that we have. So 2 HDMI ports, a VGA port, audio out, and we have our power supply. You can see on the front of the box, they walk us through some of the key tech specs. So we have adaptive sync support, blue light shift, 75 hertz refresh rate, and they're calling this HD Plus at 1600 by 900 for our resolution. Obviously, this is a 20-inch monitor. You can see its small, compact size. Now let's go ahead, let's open it up and look at the contents. Here are all the contents. First up, you can see we have our product literature right here. So, very thorough and detailed user guide and manual walking us through everything we need to know with color images, charts, diagrams. They walk you through the full menu settings right here. Really helpful. And then you can see on this page we have our supported resolutions for HDMI and VGA. They both cap at 1600 by 900 at 75 hertz. Next you can see customer service and contact card with their phone number and email address, warranty information, and lastly we have a readme first card if you want to use a third-party stand. This is VESA mount compatible. You can see 75 or 100 millimeters. And they show you how to install the included hanging screws. Those are right here. Then we have some neck screws for our monitor stand that's included. So you can see those pieces. Every Sceptre monitor I've owned comes with this lovely Phillips head screwdriver for easy installation. No other tools required. You can see our external power supply adapter right here. And we have one included HDMI cable. Last but not least, we have the monitor itself. Let's go ahead. Let's look at that in more detail. Here's the monitor up close. Check it out. Everything looks great. So on the back side with the Sceptre logo and branding, we have all of our menu buttons and controls right here. You can see 2 speakers, our VESA mount, our regular mount for the included stand, and all of our input and output options, 2 HDMI, 1 VGA, 1 audio in, 1 audio out, and our DC in for our power, and our Kensington security lock. I love how everything's color-coded, really easy to see. We'll look at it from the top down so you can see how thin it is. It does bulge out at the bottom. If you guys can see that right there, we can see it better from the side. So here it is from the side. You can see how that looks, and the bulge down here. And you can see it from the bottom. We have some ventilation. And then you can see it from the main screen. So Energy Star certified 75 hertz, HDMI sticker, Sceptre logo and branding on the bezel down there. And again, this is a 20-inch monitor measured diagonally, 1600 by 900 for the max resolution. And we do have a little LED indicator light down here in the bottom right-hand corner. Now let's go ahead, let's get the stand installed. So to get the stand installed, you can see the 2 pieces we have to twist together. So go ahead, line it up like you see right here. And we have our open and close instructions on the bottom. And then we're just gonna twist it and it's gonna snap right in place. And if we need to disassemble the stand, you can see this little tab right here. We can lift up and then twist it in the opposite direction. Now we're ready to go ahead. We're going to line it up on the back right here and take the 2 included screws with our included Phillips head screwdriver and fasten them down in place, and the stand will be successfully installed. Now you can see how the monitor looks fully assembled. Check it out. We have those 2 screws in place. That's it. And now we can talk about the practicality of this stand and its functionality. So with this particular stand, you can see how far forward we can tilt it and how far back. That's it. That's all that we get with the included stand. But keep in mind, you can put your own stand on the back if you want, and you can have more functionality if you need swivel rotation or anything like that. This is just a very basic stand with minimal functionality. Now let's go ahead, let's power it on and look at the menu settings. So now you can see we got the monitor plugged in and powered on. Let's go ahead, let's check out some of our menu settings first. So HDMI 1, 1600 by 900 at 60 hertz. Again, this can do 75 hertz. Now let's look through some of the different settings. So here's our quick start settings right there. We can change our preset depending on the image viewing experience that we desire. We can adjust the volume. So we have a lot of different options there. Next, you can see we have our picture settings. So same thing, some of those similar options that we just saw in the quick start menu right here for us. Okay, let's go back. Now let's look at our color options. Same thing, you can see we can change the temperature. A couple different options there. We can turn our blue light shift on or off, which is great that we have that feature built in. And then you can see we have some of our system settings right here. So you can see we can turn adaptive sync on or off, our language settings, our OSD options and positioning, we can change all that. And there's our volume again, we can mute or reset. So really nice menu, very easy to navigate, and the buttons are just right on the back as well. Now let's go ahead, let's look at some of the picture quality settings. So first up on the screen, you can see we have a nice image right here, just a great landscape photo. Let's go ahead, let's change some of those image settings. So watch as we go ahead, we pull up, we can do quick start or we can go to our picture settings. So let's choose our picture settings, and then you can see the different presets right here. So let's cycle through the different options: standard, user, movie, eco, FPS, RTS, and back to standard. So there's definitely a noticeable difference in the picture quality depending on the preset that we're choosing. And that can be a case-by-case basis, depending on maybe if you're gaming and you're playing an FPS, you're just doing some web browsing, you want to configure it yourself for whatever the use case may be, or you're watching a movie, you can choose that right there to get the correct viewing experience. Now let's go ahead, let's do the same thing, but with a video. Let's cycle through the presets. So here's RTS, FPS, eco, movie, user, and back to standard. So we'll do that one more time for this scene right here. You can see how they all have a slight impact, some more than others, to the video and image quality using this monitor. Now you can see one of my favorite tests is on the screen right now. This is the UFO test. So we have our UFO going across the display at multiple FPS values. I do want to point out, when you first saw this display, it was at 60 Hertz. Now I went ahead, before I pulled this test up, I changed it to 75 Hertz using our NVIDIA control panel settings. So now you're seeing 75 Hertz and 75 FPS going across the top. So obviously, as we double our FPS values, you can see the footage looks way smoother. It's not as choppy. We don't see the sputtering alien going across the screen. It's nice and smooth. So basically, just know typically the higher the refresh rate, the better it's going to be for gaming. While this isn't necessarily a gaming monitor, you can see how much of a difference it makes to have that higher refresh rate if you're trying to push higher FPS values. Now it's time to browse the web using our Sceptre monitor. So first up, we got YouTube pulled up. We're looking at the trending page right here. You can see how clear and crisp everything looks. Very detailed, super responsive. We can pull up The Verge for some tech news and look at all different images, fonts, text on the screen. No issues at all. Let's go ahead, let's pull up an article so you can see nice image. If you're worried about the resolution at this small screen size, there's no issues there. Can't see any individual pixels or anything like that. And everything's really responsive. And then lastly, here's Amazon, so you can see what it's like to browse Amazon. But it's really an enjoyable experience browsing the web using this monitor. Now let's go ahead, let's talk about this monitor's color profile. So you can see I used the Datacolor Spider X colorimeter to run a display cal test for us. So you could see the coverage and volume right here. So our color gamut coverage, we're showing 96% sRGB, 69% Adobe RGB, and 72% DCI P3. For the volume, we're showing our gamut volume of 104% sRGB, 71% Adobe RGB, and 73% DCI P3. I also wanted to show you guys the full profile right here. Feel free to pause the screen to look at anything in more detail. If I'm understanding everything correctly right here, we can see some of our delta E values. So this is under our media white point. We're showing 3.67 and 1.17. And then for medium black point, you can see our delta E values of 2.38 and 2.55. From my limited understanding, when you're looking at delta E values, really you want to find a monitor with everything under 3. I believe it gets harder and harder to notice any details, imperfections, whatever you want to call it, when that value is lower. So obviously lower is better. Higher quality monitors, typically if they're made for like a creator or somebody that's doing color sensitive work, then you're going to want to see that 2 or under. But 3 and under, not really going to be anything noticeable. Again, to my eyes, the average user, it's not going to be a deal breaker, or in fact, anything you're probably even worried about. And looking at that profile, you might actually be impressed with what we're able to get at this price point. Now it's time for one of my favorite tests. You can see we're testing out the input lag right here. Now keep in mind, input lag is different from the response time of the monitor. Input lag is the amount of time it takes for your monitor to display a signal on the screen from the source sending it. So you can see the red box I have right here is our source, and up at the top, this white box in the corner that's currently covered will give us our lowest input lag result and measurement right here due to how a monitor refreshes, from my understanding. Now take this one with a little bit of a grain of salt, because you can see in this video, we're doing 1080p 60 right here. So this monitor doesn't even support that, but you can see we're around 1 millisecond for our response time. That's definitely on the low end. I've had monitors, ironically, Sceptre monitors, top out as high as 18 milliseconds for our lag. But again, this is not the same as response time, which is the amount of time it takes a pixel to change from gray to gray, for example. This is just the amount of delay from when the device that's broadcasting the signal displays it on your screen. But you can see right there, 1 millisecond, everything is working great, very responsive. They really don't get much better than that. So now it's time to test out the built-in speaker quality on this Sceptre monitor. For this test, we're just going to do it really casual today. We currently have the volume set to 90, and you will be listening to the raw audio coming out of our camera's microphone. The camera's positioned about 2 feet away from the monitor, so keep that in mind too with the results that you're listening to. But I always want to say, regardless of the quality, I would rather have the speakers and not need them than need the speakers and not have them. So now let's go ahead and give it a listen. So it wouldn't be a monitor review without some gaming. So you can see I got Fortnite loaded and we're playing right now. Check out the quality. We have high settings and we have 1600 by 900 for our resolution at full screen. And currently 60 FPS is what we have it set to, because the next option is 120. So we're currently keeping it at 60. But you can see how everything looks right here, how responsive it is. We'll move back and forth. We'll do some quick motions right there, not trying to make you dizzy, but you can get a feel for how everything is looking right here. And yes, we do not have building anymore, which is fine, because if you've watched my reviews in the past, I don't build. So nothing's changed for me. Got him! Let's go! Got him! Let's go, you little sniper stinker! Oh, I'm not patient enough. Oh, we still got second. That's okay, though. We had a lot of fun. Again, it's not about the monitor. It's about how good you are at the game. So now, after using the Sceptre 20-inch monitor, let me share with you my final thoughts. The first thing I want to say is I purchased 2 of these. The 22-inch variant back in 2018. They run daily here at my studio, and I've had 0 issues, no dead pixels, or anything out of either of the monitors. So in regards to longevity, I really like the quality of Sceptre, and I use a Sceptre 49-inch ultra-wide, super ultra-wide, whatever you want to call it, as my main editing monitor. So I've only had great experiences with Sceptre and their quality. So in regards to this particular monitor, I expect it to hold up just as well long term. Honestly, this is not a flashy monitor. This is just your utility workhorse monitor. Maybe you want to get an extra monitor for your kids to game on and you don't want to break the bank. Maybe you want to get a screen for your laptop. Same thing. You don't care about having the highest and best resolution. You just want something that's good enough and affordable. That's who this monitor is geared towards, the everyday consumer or business. So what do I really like about this monitor? The fact that they give you everything you need right out of the box. Two HDMI ports is great if you want to connect to multiple devices. We still have VGA for legacy users. Built-in speakers is a nice touch. I know they're nothing to rave about, but again, as I always say, I'd rather have them and not need them than need them and not have them. And we have a VESA mount option, so if you want to ditch the stand for your own stand or third-party accessory, you can do that. So they really didn't skimp out on any features. Of course, I want to see higher resolution, a larger screen size. You know, I'd love to see DisplayPort and USB Type-C on the back of this monitor in the future. But again, at this price point, you have to understand what's available, and they're definitely exceeding everybody else out there with what they give you. Well, that concludes our video. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget the product link will be in our video description below. Please go ahead, check it out, and do your shopping from there. Any purchase made through that link helps support our channel at no additional cost to you. So we're really grateful and thankful for all of your support. While you're at it, can you go ahead and hit that like button for us? And subscribe to our channel. We have new content coming out daily, and we don't want you to miss anything. Please go ahead and give us a follow online and make it a clean sweep. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, TikTok, Discord. You can message us on WeChat, check out our website, and join our free newsletter. Thank you guys so much for being here. Don't forget new content daily, and we can't wait to see you in our next video.